Me now is another special guest tonight. I'm joined by Lieutenant General retired Naseeruddin Shah, former Vice Chancellor AMU, one of the country's most distinguished army officers and a brother of Naseeruddin Shah. Appreciate your joining us, Naseeruddin Saab. Do you agree with what your brother has said? That in a sense he fears for his children, whether they are Hindu or Muslim. There's a poison that has spread in society which targets an Indian Muslim, because you wrote a book called Sarkari Muslim, where you said army in particular was one institution where you didn't see yourself in religious terms.
I entirely agree with what my brother says, but I'm not afraid. I'm disgusted by what I've seen happening in the country. There's been lynchings at the last count. I think there have been 50 lynchings of Muslims. I did write to the Prime Minister in December or January, expressing my anguish at the developments in the country. And I said, you are the only person who can put an end to this madness. Despite the stricture of the Supreme Court, there seems to have been no end to this madness. So I am totally disgusted by what is happening in the country.
How would you respond to those who will say this is fear-mongering? You've seen the way the BJP and Shiv Sena have hit at your brother today, saying this is fear-mongering, catering to fear and prejudice, that isolated instances, according to them, should not be used to demonize a community in the manner that they claim is happening and dividing people along communal lines.
This is not fear-mongering at all. This is dissidence, expression of one's view, and it is not disloyalty. This is what we've been saying all along. This is wrongly perceived as fear-mongering. It is the statement of the truth. And to cement this whole argument, you have 83 IS, IPS, Indian Foreign Service, diplomats, police heads expressing anguish at this development. Let me tell you, Rajiv, that this was the lynchings have been well planned. It is an attempt to polarize society. Let me also tell you that they are capitalizing on the morbid fear of humans to see suffering and to see death. I mean, this explains why there are huge crowds at a public execution. So these are just the inherent desire of human beings to see violence. Why is it, I ask, that these incidents of lynching have been filmed by the very perpetrators of the violence, and they've been put on the social media so that people enjoy it? I think this is atrocious. This is terrible and cannot be accepted. And I think the retired bureaucrats have been quite fair and forthright in their argument.
You know, I've read the letter. It's a very damning letter of the Yogi Adityanath government in particular, and the way the government has handled Bulandshahr, apparently according to the IS and IFS officers, protecting in a sense those responsible for the lynching rather than ensuring that law and order and justice is maintained. Do you believe in that sense, though, that Bulandshahr should be typical of what's happening in the rest of the country? This is a vast and diverse country. Is Bulandshahr an exception, therefore, and not the rule?
No, Bulandshahr is not an exception. It is the rule. I'll tell you the background. You have Subodh Kumar being shot, another young boy also being shot, the mob filming the whole thing, putting it on the media. So this is certainly not. And let me also tell you, Rajiv, that this is happening 50, I've said there have been 50 cases of lynching. Let me also tell you that we are against the slaughter of cows. It is against the national ethos, against the sentiments of the majority population. But buffalo killing or buffalo slaughter is perfectly legitimate. But let me tell you that a lot of people have been, the goons have been making money on this. They've been permitting the transport of buffaloes. whenever they are paid a sum. If they are not paid, they call it a beef industry. This is the way, and I don't believe that the person who perpetrated this violence against this this inspector is still at large. The
But
police, I know their capabilities. If they want to arrest anybody, they do it immediately.
But let me ask you in
Yes.
conclusion, as a proud
And,
Indian, as a
in this
proud
case,
Indian
he's
Muslim,
still
as
at
someone, a
large.
proud army officer, do you really believe that therefore, as Naseeruddin Shah seems to suggest, that he fears for the lives of his children? I mean, do you really believe that, or do you believe that it's reached that stage?
Well, I have had the protective umbrella of the army, and my children don't know fear. We have never felt fear. But all I would say is that we are disgusted at what is happening. This sort of thing in our country should not be permitted. It has to be put, an immediate stop has to be put on this wanton killing. This is unacceptable in a secular democracy like India. Of course, the word secular has become now secular. I think it's a great heritage which we've inherited from the founding fathers of the Constitution. There should be nobody who should be living in fear in this country.
Right.
This is our country, and nobody should tell us to get out from here. I have resisted these sort of slogans thrown at me. I will not accept it. This is our country. We are very proud of it. We have worked, we have slogged for the protection and safeguarding this country, and nobody should tell us to get out from here.
Very, very strong word, Lieutenant General Shah. I hope someone is listening out there. No one has the right to define a person by the badge of religious identity. Lieutenant General Naseeruddin Shah, I appreciate your joining me on the news today tonight.